Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to come on today and just say happy Wednesday. And I have a couple things I wanted to chat about. I've been definitely getting things popping with both my Braid Girl content as well as my music content. And I've also been just dealing with a lot of the art, the coloring books, and other things like that. I have been interviewing and dealing with just some personal things within my life, just getting some things set up there. And I've been dealing with both spiritual and soul things in my life. I've been doing a lot of meditations. A lot of people have been, when I say a lot, key people have been reaching out and just totally speaking into my life and blessing me. And I just want to share a couple of things. Let's see where I want to get started with this. Okay, so there's a couple of things I want to talk about. I'm trying to see how I want to start this off. So, as a content creator and as a digital creator and as an artiste, I've been trying to figure out how to craft this career that I have. Both my entrepreneurial ideas, my son's entrepreneurial ideas, my sister's entrepreneurial ideas, and even my mom's entrepreneurial ideas. Because we've always been a family of talent. But in some aspects, because we are the forerunners, we've never seen it done the way maybe someone else who has a whole generational family, like the grandfather, father, and son, they all do cars. So each generation has seen the previous generation do it, and they just go into the family business and are able to funnel it out. With my mom and her cooking, she learned from her dad, J.D. Beaver, and also her mom, Leela Beaver. J.D. was the one who did all the foods, the meats, the different dishes, and her mom, Leela Beaver, who was my grandmother, and J.D. Beaver is my grandfather, she would do all the desserts. So my mother got the best of both worlds by studying what they did, and it turned her into the culinary artist that she is in her chef skills. She also is a very good seamstress because she learned how to sew from her grandmother as well. Those things she passed down to me with creativity. I do cook like she does. I just don't like to cook. That's a whole nother story. Like Jamila and Jay could get in this kitchen and knock out any of her recipes and do her justice because of what she's imparted in us. The difference is she has a true joy for it. My joy is more like, tell me what time dinner is because I'm ready to eat. But the point that I'm getting at is, when we were dealing with carving out the career, there's some things she said she never really pursued the way she wanted to because she really didn't know how to get her foot out and do it. So now we're in this age of AI, we're in this age of creativity, and everyone's now jumping on and showing their skill sets and getting brand deals, opening restaurants, and we're seeing a blueprint before us. Same with myself as an artist, a multidisciplinary artist. I've been braiding hair since I was 9 years old. I've braided for clients for years, and for the last 4 or 5 years, I've been wanting to get into this braided wig industry because I braid very well. But I've been wanting to multiply that gift instead of just doing it from an audition place where I just braid hair every now and then. I wanted to do something that could last past Nathaniel's generation. And so Braid Girl, for me, started in 2007 with the how-to book. And now that I'm getting deep into the creations of these wigs, I'm looking at the possibilities of where everything can go. So with that, I've been studying what other people are doing. I've been looking at things. I've been just putting my eye on it and making mood boards and visualizing things. And what I'm learning in that is it requires vision. It requires visualization. It requires writing it down. It requires having a calendar. It requires realizing, okay, we're not going to build this in 1 day or 2 days or a week. We have to consistently work at it and refine it till we get to where we're going. And it can be. I've had dreams about Braid Girl becoming a very big thing. And last night I had a dream that my sister, it was really interesting. I was in the dream I had a dream that I was in a step of house where we're from in Oakland. And I was outside watching the girls play. In the dream, the girls were little. And I just saw all these mounds of bins and packages and pods, and I started saying, why is all of this stuff out here? And as I'm going through the stuff, I see all of my ideas. I see book ideas, I see wig ideas, I see song ideas, I see value. My son and I, he's in 5th grade, so sometimes we're going over place value, and so I saw the value tools and manipulatives, and the girls in the dream were just playing around with it, trying to figure stuff out. And when I woke up, I wrote it down, and I said, I feel like the spirit is trying to tell me, play around with this stuff, break out all these incomplete projects and complete them. See the vision through. Don't give up on it because stuff happens. Don't give up on it because it's unorthodox and you've never seen anyone in your family build a business like this. I'm going to pause for a second because I know a lot of us out there are dreamers. We have goals. We want to get to a destination, but we've never seen someone do it, especially in our family, so we don't think we have the representation to do it. I had a conversation with my cousin the other day, and she blessed my heart so much with the words she spoke into my life and the things she said, things that I hadn't remembered in years, and then things that I needed to hear that particular day. God always sends who you need in that moment to encourage you to keep going. People fight what they don't understand, especially when it's a family thing. People fight when you go against the grain. People fight when your artistry sticks out like a sore thumb and everybody else may be a doctor or a lawyer or, some kind of something else other than, I'm going to be an entrepreneur and I'm going to try to win at this. I'm realizing every day what I'm thinking about is not far-fetched. And so what I wanted to share to my community today is what you're thinking about is not far-fetched. All it takes is the germ of the idea, and then let conception and implantation happen and grow it, refine it, go to work, save, put money, invest in it, get a loan, invest in it, seek a grant, invest in it, and see it through. Don't just touch the surface of it and say, oh, it didn't work. Dig in it and get it. You got to break it in. That's my favorite phrase. Break it in. When you get a new pair of shoes, you got to break those new pair of shoes in. When you get a new wig, you got to break the wig in, get it to seat right and get it to sit on you, right. And once you get that real good third, fourth wearing, you're like, oh, it's on there. It's wearing. It's going. So I feel like when it comes to our creativity, we have to break it in, and then we have to jump into it in a place where we don't let it go. We just learn how to ride it. My single that I put out in February is called Ride It Till. And the lyrics are, I'm going to ride this ride until the wheels fall off. I'm going to ride this clock to the end. I'm going to ride this wave of love like a surfer going over. I'm going to ride it to the end of our time. And I wrote a derivative work of it as well. And both versions of this particular song speak to the same thing. I'm a rider. Sometimes I may fall off the horse, but I got to get back up and get back on that horse and break that sucker in and ride it. Don't call things a failure because it may not have worked the first time. Say to yourself, I'm going to fall forward, scrape the little bruises off, and get back up and get back on that horse and ride it. You got to ride your ideas. As I meditated on that this morning, and I said, I've got so many ideas. Like I'm like I could see them like a cloud ball. Just okay, I want to do this type of wig. I want to do that type of wig. I want to make this kind of content. I got this idea. I got a podcast idea. I got this. When do I start? Especially when I'm about to go into a new job and I have a new schedule, and I may not even have enough space in my house. So my brain today was like, okay, write it down in a notebook. Go get you a calendar at the dollar store, one of them big ones that can go on the wall. Mark it out. Write down each one you want to do and accept that it's going to take a couple of days to knock those out. Do it. Figure it out. Get them on your TikTok shop. You already paid for the website. Get the website up and upload it and see how your sales do. See what happens. Go to work when you get the job. Do what you got to do. Work around your schedule. And if you run out of space in your apartment, make sure your credit and stuff is good and go get you a little storefront. When I went to the braiding store yesterday to get some more supplies, because I didn't have time to order from Amazon, for the first time I looked in that store and said, this is a business. Now, I know it's a business, don't get me wrong. But when you're not thinking from the place of business and you're thinking from consumer, you're not looking at this person who owns this store. It was a nice family in there. Hi, Rachel. Nice family in there. Black woman, and she planned this store. She wrote the idea down. She got the license, the business license, the LLC, and everything. Went and got all the things that she needed to sell her products in that store. Then she found a vendors list, got the products in the store at a wholesale rate so she can sell it to us at retail rate. Got the location she needed. She's not braiding out of a house. She's braiding inside of her store. So in the back, she sets it up where she could braid people's hair. And in the front, you can come in and buy products. And after I was finished, she gave me a card and said, thank you for your business. And I said, thank you so much. Because she was blessing me. She was giving me the tools I needed to come work on my stuff. We talked about wigs because she had some wigs in there. And I had to ask her some questions because I'm still working out the mechanics of my stuff for Braid Girl. And when I walked out, I said, that was a business plan, honey. All these years you've been buying hair in stores and you looking at it from the mind of a consumer and not the mind of business. I'm having an epiphany in this part of my life, and that's a good thing. And it's really important when we find a vision and we write it on the table. So I'm going to call today's podcast or conversation, break in your vision. We got to break in our vision. We all have ideas, dreams, goals, desires. We all see ourselves doing something specific. We just don't know what the details are in the A to Z. Sometimes we do know it, but there's things that are stopping us in the A to Z. Maybe we don't have the time. And I say the proverbial time because sometimes life does life. But if we really want it, we're going to find somewhere to take 10 to 20 minutes out of our day to keep carving it. So I'm putting myself on that kind of fervor, and I feel it in a way I've never felt it before. And I'm going to keep rolling with it. So y'all about to watch me in mad scientist mode. They're doing my yards outside and out here in this country. We live in Manteca, in San Joaquin County. It's really rural. And it's a lot of dust in there, so it's always in my throat. But you're about to see me be in mad scientist mode, like Willy Wonka. I may even do a video on that. But in order to be the innovator that you know you're born to be, you got to think outside the box. Some may call you delusional. Some may say, okay, she done flew off the cuckoo's nest today. Some may say, what, is she still on that? I am. It came to me in a dream yesterday. And when I woke up, I had to journal all the way about it to break that thing down. There's some key things I wanted to talk about today in this podcast. So let's start with the first one, J-Lo. I've been wanting to talk about this for a while. Okay, so when J-Lo, Jennifer Lopez, put out her latest project on Amazon, I watched it. And my sister was laughing at me for watching it because she was like, what are you in here watching this pop stuff? And I said, you know I love this kind of stuff. This is my lane. Because what she did was she had the greatest, what's called the greatest story ever told. Or I might be getting the titles wrong, and I'm sorry. I'll put up some things in post when I download this and edit the video. But in that, she did a documentary. She sold Amazon a documentary, and she sold them a visual art of her music. And so I watched the documentary like 6 times because every time you watch it, you find something else that you missed. And you be like, oh, I missed that the last time I was watching it. You know, sometimes you'd be watching something on your phone or doing something, so you miss it. So you got to go back. So I watched the documentary first because I like seeing behind the scenes. That's my thing. I will, back in the days when they'd be on the DVD and they'd have all those behind the scenes, that was me. I was right there watching them on the green screens or how they did it. I want to know how things connect. My son is the same way. He's a tinkerer. He likes to sit and just pull it apart, put it back together. And so that's how I am. So as I watched it, some of the key things that I was taking notes on were what her and Benny Medina were talking about when they were making the decision to pursue this project. Because she first got backing to put it out, then they withdrew it because she wasn't really getting great album sales. Because we live now in a streaming society, big artists are not even getting what they're used to getting in their back-end royalties. When they put any music out, fan bases, even though they still have core fan bases because everyone has subscription services and nobody's really buying anything, it was quote-unquote failing from a sales perspective or from a music business perspective. Hear me as I say this. And so they were trying to see, how do we get this art out here? And she really believed in this particular project because it was rooted in her love for Ben. I'll talk about that part a little bit later, but I want to get to my thought about this part about breaking, because it's still a part of breaking in your vision. And she did this project because I believe in the work, but I don't like this. Even ticket sales weren't doing good in her the big shows, and you know she's a showman. So she was just like, how do we do this? How do we recoup what we've done? How do we make the business work? Because the business is the music is a part of the business. And so she was like, you know what? Let's make a film. And I immediately was like, okay, here we go. Because what I've realized as an indie artist and dealing with the new streaming society and dealing with the fact that we will put records out, we'll get some people who will stream it right in the beginning, so my peaks go up in streaming from all the people that I know, both on my Facebook platform, my YouTube platform, my TikTok platform. Everyone will listen to it when I first put it out. So I get those baseline streams, but then it fizzes down because people may not spend time with it like they would another record, and then that's it. And so my royalties, my producer's royalties, and any other writer who wrote with me's royalties kind of just go back to dead, because that's the nature of the streaming society. You actually need something to go viral, and even in those viral moments, you're still not recouping what you want. There's a whole conversation out there right now with Spotify, Tidal, Deezer. I'm thinking of all Amazon and Apple Music. There's a whole conversation right now about streaming. There's a lot of legal things that are happening too with copyright and streaming, and what should be generated, what we should be allowed to receive, because artists should make money from their work, especially musicians. But in this new normal of the record industry, even SWV said it in one of their podcasts. Everybody was like, Taj, y'all got to put out another record. And she goes, the issue is not that we don't want to put out another record. We're not going to make any decent money doing that. Even though you guys love it, even though you guys may stream it in the beginning, and we sold millions of copies back in the days in the older system, but now we'll put all that work in, get the musicians in, and then we won't even recoup anything. So it'll be the cost doesn't outweigh the results, so to speak. And so she was like, it's not that we don't want to do it. We're trying to navigate through this with you. And we have a larger team because people still got to get paid. And when she said that, I was like, everybody is going through it with this. And so with the J-Lo situation, when Benny and her decided, we're going to put out this project as a film, I was like, genius. Because the film industry is not hurting. And content is king, visuals work. So first she got the backing to do her movie. Then someone, I don't know which group, they pulled it because they were like, we don't know if this is really going to go because it's music, ticket sales are low, the industry is not doing what it used to, you're restarting again 20 years later. We just don't know. So they just backed out. So then they were at a standstill with, well, how do we get this project finished? It's going to cost I think it was 20 or 30 million. And she was just like, you know what? I'll finance it. Now, we know if you're filmmakers, most filmmakers do not finance their own work. They get backing. They have either loans, or they have teams or production houses that they get to help them do their films. Even with indie filmmakers, most don't use their own money to make it. They find a backer, they find someone, a producer, that can help them with that. So she did something that was totally not what usually is done. She said, I'm going to back it myself. So then they showed her writing them checks, getting the studios, and these were not little studios. These were big production house studios. There was one part where they were like, okay, the budget, we got $200,000 left for this thing. And the person who was responsible for the budget, she was like, we are not going over that. Don't even have that conversation. You make it work with what number. I remember that scene. I was like, oh, I feel this. And so she got the project completed, and then she was able to sell it to Amazon. 2 projects. They made enough material to give them 2 projects, and she recouped all her money back. And the money she made back was the equivalent of what she would have made 20 years ago in the old record industry if she was just pursuing it as a record release, getting sales, getting radio airplay, recouping those royalties, doing a tour, and all those things. She was able to recoup it in the film medium. Now, what that did for me as an artist, what that did for me as an indie artist, and an indie artist with a multi-project vision. And I'm also a visual indie artist because I like Michael Jackson type videos. I like music videos where there's a story played out. I like low lighting. I like characters where how Thriller was a detailed movie, So when I looked at that and looked at my art and then looked at what J-Lo did, I was deeply inspired. Then I went back and watched the actual creation, the movie they made. And I was once again blown away by the story. Yes, there were parts where people on TikTok made comments. I chuckled a bit from some of that stuff. And then I was able to see the nuance, though, of the creativity, because that's what it was about for me. Yes, and there were some controversies, some things she said, and it was like, come on, J-Lo, but the story was still good. It was about loving yourself. Even though, yes, some things had to do with Ben, the overall story was about her going back to her childhood and loving herself. And they showed that in the visuals. So the story, you have your audio art, right? And that's one aspect where you're telling a story. And then to get people to buy into more of the concept, you have to give them another translation with the visual medium. That's what film is all about. It's an art form. And that art form is always about the translation. And one of our rules that we studied in school was don't get lost in translation. Try to always stick to that theme. Look at their tools, not only just to keep them watching, but to keep them engaging. What continues to draw them in? So I always go back to my Willy Wonka example, because if you ever watch both Willy Wonkas, both Gene Wilder's version and Johnny Depp's version, the Tim Burton version, when you watch someone like Willy Wonka, you want to keep watching. You never want to take your eye off of what he's going to do next, from his funny jokes to his dances to the songs to when he takes a little whistle thing and the Oompa Loompa comes to the, like, he's got to get juiced, and we don't want him to or her to go to the steamer, or just, and you're like, steamer, what do you mean? Oh, she's turning violet, I hate this part. Just all those weird quirky things. It draws you in. It makes you chuckle. It makes you get the story, because the story at the end is Charlie Bucket gets the whole chocolate factory. He wants to make sure he's giving his chocolate factory that he built to the person with the right heart, with the right connotation, with the right eye to keep it going. So that's what movies do. And so with this whole J-Lo thing, with that, I was so inspired. And that goes for me with breaking in your vision. Saying, okay, I may not be able to get it this way because this industry has died off. We done created something different with the streaming society. And once again, I don't think there's anything wrong with streaming society. We evolve as people. Last night, me and my son watched Marvel's. After the debate, I needed to just watch something to make me laugh again, because the debate just threw me off. I won't make this political, but there were some things that were said in that debate, and I said, I can't believe that man said what he said. head on TV like that, and the fact checkers came back and got them, and I'm grateful. But I just needed to see something to wipe all that off my brain. So we watched Marvel's Age of Ultron, and there was that scene with Stark and Hulk where they're talking about the AI, and they're like, look, this is kind of dangerous, but at the same time, I could see where this could go right. And then when everything went wrong, when Ultron, took over everything, the rest of the Avengers are like, Tony, what did you do? And Tony's looking at it from the perspective of a scientist, like, we can use this to make the world better. But everybody else saying, but don't you see the other side of it? We can ruin our existence. We're kind of living in that right now. AI is taking over in ways that still get me. My producer sent me something the other day by Timbaland, where there's this new platform in AI where it helps you write the melody of your song. And as a writer and as a songwriter, I see the benefits of it, the pros of it, and the cons of it. The pros of it is it's a tool. You can use it to help. You can use it to help you streamline time. You can use it to help springboard a new idea. But then the flip side is a studio house, or someone could say, you know what? I don't even need you anymore. I'm going to just use this, and then I'm out of a job. So there's the pro and the con of that. I believe that we should always use AI as a tool, not as a crutch. So with that part of it, I have been looking at other AI tools out there. I actually have a video that I've been working on. I'm not ready to put it out yet. I got to edit it, where I had other artists sing some of my songs because I wanted to just try it on and see what they sounded like. Because I'm also, my thing with writing has to do with both writing for myself as an artist, tapping into sync, because I would like to I want to live in my retirement in sync. That's one of my goals. And then write for other artists. And I said, okay, and I'm really good at dialing in. I can listen to an artist, I'll study their vocal diction, what they do, and then I'll go in and write, and then I'll listen to them too, to see what they talk about, what their interests are, get their idea, and then I'll write. And then I allow them to take that, and they can work on it as well if they want to change some things or fix it to fit them. And then we split everything down the middle and go from there. But in that arranging process, what I like about the AI tool is that it gives you an idea of who could do it. I did one where I had a Billie Eilish AI do one of my songs, and then I had one where I had Beyonce do one of my songs, and then I had one where I had Taylor Swift do one of my songs. I like the Billie Eilish version of it a little bit better. I'm going to do a video of it so you can hear it. The Beyonce version was good, but I think I wanted to try a different song on her, on that AI version. And once again, it just gave me ideas. And what I like is it helped me study, and then it also helps me as an artist deal with my thing as a vocalist, what I'm trying to do in vocal arrangement, vocal harmony, where I want to keep building and refining in that aspect to make myself better. I'm always looking at how can I make Chanel better as the artist, and not just, I did this and it's different. No, how can I really refine that? How can I practice that run over and over again till I get it right? So that part on AI and breaking in your vision, you have to find what works. It's 2024. My son still teaches me to this day. He's 10, and he runs circles around me with technology. My kid will come every day. He teaches me something new. Every day he's like, Mom, look at this. Okay, I want to show you how this breaks down. He'll get my phone or he'll get the computer, and we'll spend an hour just dissecting and breaking open a new program, understanding it, what it could be used for, and then I'm able to take that and use it in my business. So with breaking in your vision, we have to refine with the time of it and use the next generation. Don't push them away. Let them be a part of what you're doing. Let them see the creation process, because that's going to spark something with it in them, and it's going to let them build value for it when you've built it, and they'll want to keep it going as adults, because they'll be like, I was right there as a kid building it. There's another person I've been studying recently that I wanted to talk about, and that's Beyonce. Okay, so I saw an article from her from GQ, and there was a quote, and on that quote, she was basically saying, I'm done doing music as a pop singer the way I used to, where I was just trying to hit benchmarks and, pursue my business in aspect. Now I just want to create art for art's sake and do what I want to do and become an artist again. And I'm paraphrasing what she said. What I'll do when I edit this is I'll take it and then I'll chop it up and put her exact words there. But what I got from that point of view first was she's now in her artist bag. She's like, I've accomplished what I wanted to accomplish in the old system, trailing now into this new system. And now I just want to try some stuff. The other day I was like, it's not that I'm trying to be a Beyonce, because people will make jokes like, oh, you're 40 years old, still trying to be an artist. And in their head, they think I'm trying to become a Beyonce. It's not that. I want to be the greatest artist Chanel can be. I'm inspired by Beyonce because I like that she has the ability to write something on a piece of paper and say, I want to try this, has the money in her bank account to go get whatever she needs, whatever team she needs, and executes it to the fullest level it can go to. And I heard that chick Angel say that before too on a podcast. And I agree. I love that thought, because what if we had an unlimited bank account? Or what if we had something where we could do everything we said we want to accomplish to see it come to fruition? And I said, that would be cool to do. And then I had to tell myself, okay, right now, okay, you're not a millionaire. The reality is, if you don't keep pursuing your art, you will never get to the places you know you can get to if you try. What can you do on your scale as a woman who just goes to a regular job and has an annual salary? What can you do on that level? I gotta start putting this in airplane mode. And when I wrote it down, I said, okay, there's a lot of things I can still do on my level. It may not be Beyonce's level, but I can still get my message across in that aspect. I said, I can write it down. I can carve out an area in my home to do filming. My light, let me show you. I have a light right here. I got my equipment, my lighting. I already have that. I've got like 5 cameras. I got a drone. I got phones. I have a family of 5 who is always eager to work with me. I got a producer who's really good and I work with, and we have a good working rapport. I got a team of people that I love, that love me, that still reach out and we still collaborate. People that I've met throughout the years, various pianists, a cellist. My cousin does music. There's a lot of people I can rely on. If I get my budget right, I could hire people that I also know. And they can come and help me do arrangements. I just gotta get my budget right so I can pay their fees, because you gotta pay your people. If you're going to request services from someone, you have to pay them. And I said, okay, I can just get a budget together. Let me really look into this. Then I thought, okay, well, what is it that's stopping me, or what is it that I'm trying to do? What is it that I'm trying to break in this vision? And I said, I want to get from thought to completion. And I want my completion to look like a decent video. There's a lot of YouTubers out there who make Michael Jackson style music videos, and they look great. There's a lot of DIY stuff on there. When you're a part of certain YouTube programs, you get access to some of their studios. And I was like, okay, I could grow my YouTube and make it bigger, and then later I'll have access to some of their studios and equipment. And then it was like, okay, I can also go rent some space and put set designs together, because I have that. I was a theater major, so I have that background in lighting and set design, and I can go do that and put it together and put the looks together, put the wigs together, get a makeup team. It doesn't require all that I'm thinking. I'm just gotta lower this. I gotta shrink that world. Someone told me a while back, shrink your world, Chanel. You have great ideas, but I need you to shrink your world so you can laser focus on the idea. So when I was thinking about Beyonce's year with Renaissance, this is what I gained from that whole experience, and Cowboy Carter. Renaissance was beautiful to me only because I just like how it was a lot of it was like she dipped her ladle in the well of house music and all that music from our coming of age years and our parents' coming of age years, and made her own style and sound out of it, and it worked. I liked the look of it. I liked how when they put it out, everybody was ready to hear it. I always look at people's rollout, and I was looking at her rollout. She put it out, we knew it was coming, and everybody was ready to listen. So she got those spins. Some of her fans did streaming parties and would spend more to help that. She got that Grammy on that first Grammys from it. I think it was on Cuff It and a couple of other stuff. During that Grammy, she was able to she broke the record and became the artist who has now the most Grammys. And what I looked at was, okay, she did the Dubai thing and she made like so many millions from that, right? So that was bag number one. Then her and Taylor Swift did those tours. Both tours netted about $2 billion. Ticket prices were what they were. Everybody had something to say about it. Even I did. And finally I had to say, yeah, for us, it may be pricey, but there's a bigger picture here. And I need to look at from a business perspective. Let me study this A artist. Let me study this A game artist and Taylor Swift's A game and look at their business. What are they doing in the business? Because the music industry is not what it used to be. So they're teaching us something here. She recouped that bag in quality shows, in one of those memory-making shows. And then she put a camera to it and filmed it. And then she had that limited release film, and that limited release brought in another bag, about $24 million in the AMCs. So just look at that business plan from the year. Once again, breaking in the vision. And of course, I love the documentary because I got to see the behind the scenes of all the stuff she did previously. She did all that stuff leading up to the whole Renaissance tour. So you got there was one scene where she's talking about lights and they're just studying how the lights are coming in, and one panel, she was like, one panel costs this much money, and I'm in here talking about panels. And then there was one mode where they have like this blow up thing, and her daughter's like, Mom, you're literally talking about fingers. Mom, you're talking about fingers on the blow up. And she's like, I'm working on the set design, honey. Let me deal with this. And she was just like, when I'm in this mode, I'm like my daddy. I am on it. I'm laser focused. This is my business. And I have a look and I want to make sure we get this right. I was so empowered by that. I talked to some people, and, some people, some people love Beyonce. Some people are not really into her like that. And I get it. I respect her work ethic, and I respect what she does on that creative level. She paid her dues and she did what she had to do. So I was able to glean from that and you got to break in your vision like that. It may not be on her scale, but don't give up on your vision. Because if you see it through, you will see it. It took her 4 years to get Renaissance to what it is today. So once again, we used the J-Lo example. Now we have the Beyonce example. She put out Act 2, Cowboy Carter. And when it first came out, I was like, where is this girl going with this? I know everybody was like, I'm tired of hearing, what's that song? Texas Hold'em. And then when it was time for me to have my surgery, that was the only album I could listen to. And it relaxed me. It calmed me. And the reason why is because country music, it has a contemplative, relaxing soul feel. R&B and blues, it's rooted out of that. It's our music. It was created during the blues dark time. You have to think of back porch with a guitar, or with a washboard, or with a harmonica. I even want to throw the word out, either plantation or sharecropping. That's where the heart of that music comes from. Let's put a pause on it for a second. We forget that aspect of it. And it was so calming, like a gospel record. That's how calming Cowboy Carter was for me. And it got me through my surgery. The lyrics helped me reflect in a way that I've never reflected before. The melodies and harmony, a lot of harmony and melodies in those projects. And it's not overly produced. It's some things were genre related, and then she would spin the genre in some cases, but it worked. And I grew to love that project. It got so, I'm gonna say good for me, but bad for my household. My family was like, if you play that record one more time, because I'd be in my room at like 4 a.m. and I'd either have it on low or I have it, and sometimes at 4. My sister could be in here drawing. We're a multi-generational household, by the way. My sister could be in here drawing at 4 because she likes to draw in the morning when the house is quiet. And I like to get up early in the morning. It's weird. I'm a Sag. So in the morning, I like to get up early, and I actually still am a night owl. I'll try to tap in at 12 and then get back up. But I'll just spend time and watch the sun come up and just let those melodies settle right on down. And just let all those melodies just hit. Makes me think of a ranch. It makes me think of riding a horse. And I've done that. I was part of cowboy camp. I know all about that life. And it just relaxes you in a way. It's like if you live in the city or a metropolitan city and you drive to the country or a rural town and just have a week break. You calm down, because when you're in the metropolitan life, everything's fast paced, quick, in a hurry. But then when you get to a countryside, you slow down. Everything is slowed down. Your mind slows down. Your heart slows down. Your cortisol levels go lower. Oxytocin kicks in, and you're able to feel. Going back to breaking in the vision, I got it in that moment. She said on GQ, "I am now interested in making music that I care about now." That's what Cowboy Carter was all about. And it relaxed me in ways that I haven't been relaxed. Sometimes there'll be other types of music that opens up chakras in your body or opens up spiritual things in your body that you don't want to be operating out of. Sometimes there's some music you hear and you're ready to, all right, let's turn it up. And sometimes you need it. Sometimes it's time to get up and go to work and you are sleepy and you got to put on the most hardcore rap song that's going to get you up and going. I'm trying to think of my core stuff. There's some songs I have to just put on, like either I'll put on the Black Eyed Peas, or sometimes I have to put on, like, some old school 90s rap music, or something that I would listen to back in high school, some Tupac, or I'm just thinking of people that I used to listen to, or DJ Quick. Oh my God, oh my God, yes. So just stuff like that, where you have to just put this on and be like, let's get it, come on, or something with Dr. Dre beat on it. You just like, I like Kendrick Lamar, so sometimes I'll be in my King Kunta mode, like, okay, I'm falling asleep. Let me, come on, you get it. So I get it. There are times where you have to wake up your soul like that. But when I was having my surgery, I had to put my mind and my body in a state of rest because of what I was enduring at that time. And that was the only thing that relaxed me. But back to breaking the vision. She got the bag from a business standpoint the year before with the tour, with the movie, with Dubai, and the record sales. Once again, tapping into the film industry and then tapping into the theater merch industry, because that's really what it is. There are ways to make your income and still get your goal accomplished. So that's what I deal with now with how do I break it in. The last part about Beyonce was the CMAs. So I was not surprised that she did not get nominated for anything because of the nature of the society we live in. And this is important because it still is 2024. And there was one side of me that wanted to get upset and up in arms because she didn't get nominated, because I thought she should have. She tried, and she did a lot of good stuff. And even her opener, she's like, y'all say I'm not country enough, but when I came out, y'all do is call me country because I'm from Texas. It's in my voice. When I first heard her speak back when I was like 20, I was like, oh my gosh, she's country. Not that being country is bad. Everybody has their own disposition of people who may have an accent they try to judge. And that's not it at all. It's who they are. When you understand the heart of what country is, or you understand the heart of who a person is, or what that life is like, or what that dialect. When I think about dialect in just America, I'm limited to America, and how every region has developed a dialect based on who settled. I've been in California my whole life, but my grandmother who just passed away is from Mississippi, and my other grandmother is from Oklahoma, and I was around them a lot. Their tongue is in my tongue. Even though I never lived in Oklahoma or Mississippi, it's in my tongue. I know how to code switch because I was trained to do that, as most of us do. But you can't get rid of it. And you shouldn't want to hide it or get rid of it. I think about Tabitha Brown and how in the beginning of her career, she was hiding her tongue because she didn't want people to judge her. And then when she got that epiphany, grow your natural hair out, go vegan, and speak with your regular tongue, that authenticity is going to touch people more. You hear where I said there? So when I called Beyonce country, when I first heard her speak for the first time when we were younger, I was like, who this girl? Where all this coming from? Like, you saw an authenticity in that. And I'm going to keep it a buck. Sometimes people want to diminish people because they're from the South. And it's like, come on now. So much business and richness and heart comes from there. We cannot do that with our politics, with our respectability politics, with validation, with trying to hide those parts of us. Bring it out. That's a part of who you are. That's a part of breaking in your vision, because your authentic self is what's going to reach the people, not this fake facade. This morning I was writing a song based on a sermon I preached a long time ago, and it was an idea, and it's called Release the Gimmick. And what I think about when I talk about release the gimmick is someone trying to fight a fire, going to a fire department, saying, I'm going to join your fire department. But they show up in a Halloween costume. They don't show up in real fire gear. So while they're fighting that fire, they're not prepared to do the work because they're wearing a Halloween costume. A Halloween costume is a facade. It's a gimmick. It's about cosplay. So it's going to be like a plastic hat. It's not going to protect your head if something comes falling down because it's burning. The garb you have on is probably not going to be a proper protective gear. You're not going to have water in your water hose. You might even have something in the back where you're tying it up and not having a full uniform or thing on you. So you're going to be exposed a little bit in the back while you're trying to fight a fire. Most of us have the idea of wanting to show up as the firefighter, or as the artist, or as an entrepreneur, or as a chef, or as the greatest thing ever existed. But we're doing it in Halloween costumes and not doing the work, going through the job track and the training to get the gear, to be a part of the actual team, to go in there and be equipped to fight the fire. This goes back to my idea of breaking in your vision. So when I think about gimmicks, when I think about people who name drop or spend all their time name dropping and not focusing on how can I become the name that is dropped, that is where we separate the people who really want it and the people who are going to get it. Let me see if I can reach. Ugh. There was a it's right here. Come on, come here. Yep, right here. Fortune cookies are really important to me. Every time I get a fortune cookie, I know it's speaking to me. And this one that I have right here, I'm gonna read it to you. There are dreamers and there are achievers. The difference between the two is action. There are people who dream, and there's nothing wrong with dreaming, but we cannot stop at the dream. We have to move into becoming an achiever. We have to move into the goal planning, and we have to move in the action. This has been the wildest year of my life. And I only say it's been the wildest year because I've dealt with some heart connections. And you know, when you deal with the heart connection, it means something to you. There's some surface wounds you get. It's like, oh, it's just a graze, I'll heal. But when it's a Black Heart on the Table heart connection, that's why my project is called Black Heart on the Table. It's an examination of what's happening with the heart and trying to get that black heart of stone to become flesh again and pump blood and do what it's supposed to do. Because we done let everybody just take it and throw it on the floor and get dirt on it and run amok. And so for me, when I experienced my heartbreaks of this year, I kept saying, heartbreak hurts like hell, but it corrects your vision. It shows you something that you never saw before, and you learn. And you could take two choices. You could become bitter and sour and a sourpuss, or you can thug it out, get it out the mud, cry it out, let them tears fall, heal, write the lesson. And writing the lesson is this. It's accepting that what the other person did, that it sucked. That was their fault. but also accepting, what did I do to break my own heart? What did I do to open the door for that to happen? Where's my accountability? Because this is where my responsibility kicks in, so that I can learn this lesson and I can pass it when it shows up again in my life. Time will not tell the story. My sister called me, one of my play sisters called me when I was really in a mode. And she said, Chanel, you're finding yourself in this position and you keep saying it. It's a cycle. It's the same thing. It's never going to correct itself, and time will not heal it. If you give it to time, you will die with it. You have to learn how to deal with it, how to rechange your thinking, how to build up your confidence, how to write it down and get stability and surety in this particular area, because you got it on the others. But this area, you got to shore this up. And you will always win when you operate from this place. And that's how we fix this problem. Still talking about breaking in your vision. August unlayered me. I made a public post, and I get it. When there's bass in my voice, I can scare the you-know-what out of people. And when I lead with love and light and the joy of the Lord, because that's all this is, the joy of the Lord, I can light up the room. I get that. And I know that's God saying, I created you to do something. I created you and gave you these gifts and all the experiences you've had, both good and bad, is to be there for the remnant of people that need it, to offer joy and light to people who need it, to offer a kind word of encouragement. Don't let the ugly in people or people who may not like things about you or want to talk you down because they feel a certain kind of way make you hate the things that I gave you, because those gifts bless everyone, even the ones that come against you and talk about you. I'm going back to the Cars analogy I said a couple of days ago. My producer always brings it up, and I had to just go watch that movie again, and I got it. And it's not they're getting into your head, you've already gotten into their head. And they're trying to come and drill holes in your boat to get you to stop. Because for whatever reason, whatever they're going through, they want you to stop. But I don't want you to stop. I want you to keep going. When I'm saying I don't want you to stop, God is saying, I don't want you to stop. I want you to keep going. Your desire is to keep going. Your heart, your assignment is to keep going. Because what you have, what you've gained from every heartbreak, every experience, every learning lesson is a tool that can bless someone else. And you put it in your art. You put it in your writing. You put it in your drawing. When you braid hair, because something happens. I always say we are skilled artisans. It's an oral tradition that's been passed down generation to generation. I am so grateful to be a part of the army of braiders. I don't think you really understand. I love watching watch some braiding videos and watch some technicians braid geometry in black women's hair. Come on now. That's a whole nother topic for Braid Girl. But the point that I'm making with that is this. You got to freak your funk. You got to be your own person. You got to look in the mirror and be accepting of who you are, with the nose you have, the skin complexion you have, the eyes you have, the mouth you have, the teeth or lack of teeth you got, and roll with it. Because you're here and you're supposed to be here because there's a purpose you got to fulfill. Break in your vision. I'm going to read this part one more time. There are dreamers and there are achievers. The difference between the two is action. I saw a post yesterday where it said, you're a musician. And now in order for you to be the musician you want to be, you have to become a content creator. When I tell you I clicked like and I was like, oh my God, the struggle is real. And sometimes I'd be like, is it taking away from my creation of the other things I want to do? And finally I had to say, Chanel, no, just put a camera to what you do. That's content. You done it. With the streaming society, with AI, with the creation of YouTube and reality TV and all these new technologies, if you want to be the artist you're trying to be, you can't just post and say, check out my work. It don't work. Some people will stream your stuff and say, oh, that was cool. But in order to build value in it, you got to turn this camera on, get this lovely light, put on your best wig. I didn't make this one, by the way. This is a Fashion Nova wig. I got it because I wanted to study it. And I do like it. There's some things I want to change up a bit on it. I cut all the baby hairs off, so I'm going to reventilate some more in. And I'm going to be honest. I like this one. It doesn't feel like a helmet. It's fuller. And my other one that I made, the braids are bigger, but that one's not heavy. So I want to just kind of study it a little bit more to see if I take some of the braids out, if that could help. It is fuller. It's longer. I like putting a hat on with it more. But I do like it. It's cute. I like the color. I like the boho look that it has. But like I said, put your best wig on and create your content. That's what I was getting at. I don't go on tangents, and if I ever do digress, I'm always pull it back in. That's part of my training. But today I'm grateful. So this is today's podcast, today's video. I'm gonna try to right now I still have a little downtime, so I'm gonna try to just go live every morning. And then when I start my new job, I'll either try to go live before I go into work or on one of my breaks or afterwards. And then I'll try to chop that content throughout the week. I want to give a special shout out and dedicate today's podcast to James Earl Jones and Frankie Beverly. Two iconic, brilliant artists who have now left this side and are now our ancestors. And I just want to say I'm very grateful for both of them and all that they've done. When James Earl Jones passed away, my sister walked out the room and was like, you know, I know they're planning the next Mufasa movie, but now they just need to cancel it. Because I don't know anybody else who could do this, and I don't even want to hear anybody else do it, because he is the world's father. He is everybody's dad. And I was like, you are absolutely right. 93 years. That's so beautiful. A legacy. He when you think of what he did in Star Wars, it's not just role of a lifetime. He became everybody's father. Luke, I am your father. You know, when I think of Claudine, when I think of what's some other movies that Jamila and I talked about The Sandlot, and he was in The Sandlot. He was the blind guy. Wait a minute. Just when I think of all the detailed movies that he has done, Coming to America. Even the sequel of Coming to America, it was almost like a foreshadowing how that one happened, and I was just like, oh, I know it's gonna happen, but dang, I even said that when I was watching Coming to America the sequel. I was like, I don't want to accept that we're gonna lose him one day. And so now that it's happened, I'm just like, oh, okay, here we go, a changing of the guard. And then when I found out today that Frankie Beverly passed, I know he had just retired from his work with Maze, and I was like, okay, this is something. I got a feeling he's either resting. It was kind of like with Maurice White. We know when we have to go rest. You know, I see that a lot in our older people, our elders. And when I saw the first news flash, I was like, I know I didn't read that. And then I went and found other sources, and I said, oh my God, he left us. Oh wow. Another icon. I started singing for the rest of the morning. We are one. That's all I could hum. And I said, I wanna be iconic like that when I go. I want my music to be like that. When you think about a Frankie Beverly and Maze song, and the joy we get when we do Before I Let You Go, you know what I'm saying. Joy. icon. Both of these men had a vision, broke it in, and wrote it till the wheels fell off. 93 and 77. Think about that. Both of them had an iconic vision for their artistry. One as an actor and became an actor's actor, voiceover artist, performance artist, theater artist. You see this man walk in and he is a tower. And guess what? He used to stutter. He told the story once on The View, how he used to stutter. And he had to first deal with his stuttering impediment. And now he became the greatest voiceover actor we ever experienced. That's called breaking in your vision. Having no excuses for any impairment and saying, gosh dog it, I was created to do this and I'm going to get up and do it. And I'm going to do it till I'm 93 years old. What did I say? Break in your vision. Today's topic is break in your vision. And then when you think of Frankie Beverly, they were showing some of his younger pictures and him older. And I just went, wow. The details of the music. They all in white. Every time I think of Maze and Frankie Beverly, I'm thinking of them, him in that hat. And they get up there and they doing their thing. I love a good live performance. So there is a joy I get when I see that. When Beyonce remade Before I Let You Go, it was a beautiful tribute. It was like, oh, no she didn't. Yes she did. But it goes back to him being the quality songwriter to create something that is so brilliant. So, yeah, I put a post up earlier, the greatest to ever do it. So, I pay that homage today on here. I'm also going to pay homage to my grandmother who just recently passed in August. Death is final and it is real. And grief, you have a process of grieving. When you first cry, first you're in shock. You don't cry yet. Then you cry. Then you kind of lament because you're dealing with everything, whatever the memories, whatever your relationship was like with that person. You go through those moments of counting time where you look at the beginning of the year like she was here. Okay, this happened and we talked and, this happened, whatever. And for me, the finality, I was going through my phone, I saw her name pop up and I just went, she's not going to call anymore with those funny little conversations, or little 5-15 minute conversations that we have, and then rush off the phone. Because that's what she used to do with me. And I'd just be like, it's Nana. But recently I've been thinking a lot about some of the stuff she would say to me about being a 43-year-old woman. And remembering who she was in her 40s, and even thinking about who she was in her 80s. And my grandma's a fighter. And I am too. As I've been running my house, I run my house all the time. But as I've been running my house this week on this side of her being gone, I'm tickled more. Because I do everything like she does. Moving fast. Picking up little stuff here and there. Cleaning. I'll cook. Multitask. Get my boy on for school. Braiding hair over here. Talking to this over here. Jamila runs in. Hey, you got a question? I got a question about this. How to do that. Mom comes in. We got this. We got that. Can you walk me? Here you go. Bam. Something else happened in the house. Okay, I got it. And I just had to, even this morning, I was picking up trash off the floor and getting it in the garbage can, how you get your house together in the morning before you get started. I had a chuckle. I thought about my grandmother. Because that's how she was when she was running her house and raising all the kids. And I just went, thank you, Nana. I said it just like that. Thank you, Nana. That's how grief hits. It's the small details of things and that memory. So I'm really grateful for that woman, Clara Wilson. Good and bad, the good and bad things, but I'm grateful. And maybe I haven't said that enough in public, and I should. I will do my best not to ride the wave of my base so much because I am a woman. I get that. And I do get that as a woman, there's a disposition people want you to carry and have. And women are the arcs of their family and the necks of their family. Like I said, the man is the head and the woman is the neck. That's what I'm getting at. They're the matriarchs, and everybody goes to the matriarch. So if the matriarch is not all there or something's happening, everyone gets rattled. I will do my best to keep the peace in all situations. That's how I'll say that. Because what's for me is for me. What's not for me will pass me by. And it will not break anything in my life. It won't break the barrier. It may give me a little prick or a surface grace, but it ain't gonna come through. And you know the phrase, if it's me and God, we the majority. I'm teachable, learnable. I'm humble enough to admit if I've done wrong. I'm meek enough and have enough empathy in my heart to walk in forgiveness. And if I ever cut somebody off, it's not because I haven't forgiven. It's because I've recognized there's something within yourself that is determined to not walk in peace. There's something within yourself that is determined to drill holes. I can't have people that want to drill holes in my boat be around me. That's a part of your vision too. So when you recognize those kind of snakes or those type of people, put them in the category of agree to disagree from afar and release them in love. Because when you are in pursuit of your goal, when you're breaking your vision, if you're a Christian, you're going to say the enemy. Some people say the universe and karma and bad people and things like that. There's always going to be some type of opposition or a hater that's going to show up and try to drill a hole in your boat. Your boat has to sail properly. It cannot sink. Your job is to keep an eye on that steer and steer the ship in the right direction. And I'm going to give you a Mariner's Time. Come back. That Mariner's Time is you could be on land, on water and start from one point. If you get off just a little bit, you will end up in a different direction than you were intending to go. So I'm very clear of my power. I'm very clear of that. I naturally steer ships. Not because I'm trying to change anyone or any person. I got a vision and I have a goal and I have something that I have to do. That's just how I've rolled and lived my whole life. There was a sermon that said, roll on or get rolled over. That's not funny. But it was funny when they said it. But man your ship. If you see someone is coming with a drill, they got to go. Throw them off the water and let them have a Jonah experience. But don't mean we don't love each other. Don't mean I don't love you. Don't mean I don't want nothing for you. But I can't have you drilling no holes in my boat. As simple as that. And that could be sowing a seed of doubt. Giving backhanded compliments. I'm welcome and always open for constructive criticism, or I see your slip showing, let me fix your slip. Because I love you, I don't want you out here looking crazy. But then, if there are backhanded compliments, or backhanded comments, or too many jokes, hear me, pay attention to who you let around you. That determines how well you break in your vision. People will come to pump brakes on your vision. Don't get me wrong. There are some cases where you need it. Where I need it. Where we need it. Then there's some cases where acceleration needs to take place. And folks is jumping in like, no, we don't want this to happen. Because they, for whatever reason, they feel a certain kind of way about their own life. And so it's that crabs in the barrel mentality. Don't mean we don't love each other. Just means I can't have you drilling holes in my boat. I believe that was all I was supposed to say today. I wrote it down earlier. I just didn't bring the paper with me, but I knew I wanted to talk about this. So today's podcast is about breaking in your vision, seeing your goal through. I'm going to be back with more content. I got 3 wigs I'm going to work on. I went and got a lot of hair and supplies yesterday, so I'm going to go live with that. Nathan and I have been working on a lot of school stuff right now, but there's some stop motion ideas he told me he wanted us to work on, so I'm going to let him do that because we believe in creativity in this house, and we're going to train him because that boy has so much talent in him, and I don't want to hold him back even at 10. I have some therapeutic coloring books I've been working on, so I'm going to get that up. Right now it's a team of 5, so we're working on it. We're trying to get it out as fast as we can. And then with my TikTok, I converted my music channel to a business channel. I didn't realize when you do that, it limits the music you can play. I thought I could still play my music and other types of music, so I can only use music that's commercially released. So I'm doing research on how I can get my stuff into that because I have a distribution, but I don't know what the stipulations. I'm going to go back and do the reading on that. I also have a backup TikTok channel that I created. It's a personal one. So I'll start doing music stuff on that one since I can still do it. And then I'll just leave my Janelle J. Wilson music one up to sell my products because I'm ready to launch. I'm in that phase. And then Braid Girl launch. The goal is to have that site up by next week sometime. I've been in there working on it, getting the pictures up, getting the products up, putting the SKU numbers in, linking the payment e-commerce side. So let me just get that going, and then I'll have a better date on when that release will be up. And that's going to be my online boutique. And it's going to be braids, health and beauty. I'm going to be getting into oils and butters. We got a lot of different things me and Jamila have been working on. So I'll be doing that. And then got some singles coming out. And I'm really excited about it. Getting back to it. We're getting back to it. I'm not done. God is awesome. God always has a plan. We may not agree with it. We may not want to go along with it. We may be kicking and screaming, but there is always a plan. So break in your vision. Don't let nothing stop you. Test it, refine it, work at it again. If you feel like you failed, take a breather. Sometimes just taking a breather, taking a nap, and then go back and look at it again helps. If you have to hit save as and start over. That was funny. Me and my producer were working on one of my singles, and we were getting the feel. And he had made one beat, and it was good. I'm not saying it was bad. And I was listening to it in the car, and I was like, I like it, but a part of me feels like we got to dial in just a hair more on this. And so when I got to the studio, I was like, I like this, but I want you to dial in. And he was like, all right, let me think about it. So he started deleting stuff in the thread. I went, what are you doing now? And he was like, what? I was like, hit save as. Don't. And we laughed. We just started laughing. And so that save as saved the old copy. But then the new copy, he was then able to go in and start deleting stuff. And then he rebuilt this really cool beat. Like, oh my God. It was why we call him Poetic Beats in the first place. And we both were just like, that was awesome. So hit save as. Don't just throw it away. Just hit save as. That's what I'm gonna say for that. So I'm Janelle J. Wilson. I'm definitely gonna be back for more. This was my live for today. And I'm gonna just keep coming on here. I hope you guys all have a great Wednesday. Smile, give somebody a hug, anyone. It could be a friend, family member, cousin, because you don't know how many times somebody gets a hug in a day. Do something kind for yourself. I don't care if it's getting some ice cream. I don't care if it's sitting down and taking a 10-minute nap. If you have a child, spend a little time with that kid. Find something quirky about them that makes you laugh or just something. Do it. And have a good day. All right. Love y'all.